What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Boleros podcast. I'm here today with the usual suspects, Gab, Maui. Say hi to everyone.
Hello, hello. It's good to be back.
Yo.
Okay, konting energy naman
It's
dyan,
good to be
guys.
back on
Kasi
the winning
kahapon,
side, you mean, Maui. It's good to
exactly.
be
Exactly.
back on
Okay.
the winning side.
Yeah.
Sabi ko na nga ba, magre-react tong dalawang to eh. Okay, so a lot of things happened over the last week. Since we last did our podcast, first of all, welcome back, Maui. Happy to hear na healthy ka na pala. By the way, Maui got COVID a week ago, I think, right? Or 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
Maui, no? Kaya he was out last week, no? But happy to hear
Back
you're
information
back and
na.
healthy.
Yeah, happy to
Mm.
be back. Thank you, guys.
Okay, sige. So, we have a lot of things to discuss. So, we're going to do just a quick recap nung games kahapon. After that, let's discuss our ballers versus boleros. And then, we'll talk about the last few games for some of the teams. Yung other teams kasi tapos na eh. But some of the other teams, they still have one last game. And maraming Final Four implications, yung games na matitira this Wednesday ba? I'm not sure. Basta yung last day of games natin, okay? So, first of all, let's talk about the games yesterday. Meron tayong three very exciting, very close games. The first one was Adamson versus NU. Adamson shocked NU. Remember, Gab, during our last podcast, sabi natin, mukhang Adamson yung tagilid because they had the most difficult
Yeah.
schedule. But Adamson won two straight after that podcast. No? So Adamson beat NU with a Lastimosa game winner. LaSalle lost to UE, which we thought LaSalle could easily win. So they lost
Oh,
to UE in
Lasal.
overtime. And as you all know, kaya sobrang saya ng dalawang to today. Ateneo finally gets back at UP from winning yesterday by 7. So UP won the first round, Ateneo won the second round. They won by 7, but it was still a close game. It was still
8-8.
8. Sorry. They won by 8, but I think it was still a very competitive game until the end. So, ito yung first question ko sa inyo, guys. Which was the most exciting game yesterday? Dun sa tatlong games na yon, which was the most exciting and why? Lalabas ba
Ako,
yung bias nyo?
not so
Objectively,
objective.
who wants to go first?
Yeah, I
Maui,
can go first.
go first. You can go
Objectively
first.
speaking, Ateneo versus UP is the most exciting game. Not
Okay.
because not because I'm from Ateneo, but because Ateneo and UP have been bitter rivals for the past 3 or 4 years already, starting from the time of sila Terdy Ravena and sila Juan Gomez Zeliamo and Kobe Paras. They also faced each other in the finals twice already, with Ateneo winning the first one and UP winning the second one. But UP has got Ateneo's number, winning three of, I think, four of the last 5 games, dating back to last season and the first round this year. Uh, it was the most exciting game, not because of the implications of the Final Four, but it had a very big impact also, with Ateneo needing to win to secure the twice to beat advantage, and UP wanting to secure the top spot. And I think we can all agree that that game was a playoff game. That game from the
Yes.
from tip off, that game
Championship
was,
atmosphere.
yeah, championship atmosphere. You could hear the both crowds were very crazy. Both teams were very intense from the get go. Walang ano, kahit si Boom and si Larry Foracher were saying on the broadcast na you cannot not be focused. For any of the players couldn't be not focused for even a split second. Both teams were very intense and really wanted to win the game. Probably for momentum also coming into the final four within the next week. Yeah, so I think, definitely no bias, but Ateneo UP delivered and was the most exciting game for me this last weekend.
Okay, so na-mention mo, Maui, meron din siyang implications when it comes to the standings. No? So just to recap to everyone, with that win by Ateneo, so that was the last game of UP. So I think UP ends the season with 3 losses and I
11
think
wins.
11 wins. So they're still number one, but Ateneo is now at 10-3, which means if they win their last game against Adamson, they could actually get the first place. I think based on quotient, no Gab.
Yeah, they
Based
had to
on
beat
Yeah.
quotient,
they had to beat
Ateneo would
UP
be the number one.
5 points or more actually nung game nung yesterday. And they were successful. It was also the reason why if you rewatch till the end, UP was still fouling nung dulo. They probably wanted to try to reduce the margin below 5 points.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So, Maui, pinili mo Ateneo versus UP, no? Gab, Ateneo versus UP din ba ang pipiliin mo?
So I watched all these 3 games fully, and I have to be biased. I'm sorry. It's Ateneo versus UP. It
Okay,
was
sige.
the best game
Sige, sure.
yesterday.
Sige, tell us why you love the Ateneo versus UP game and then give us your runner-up. Kung hindi Ateneo versus UP, alin dun sa dalawang remaining games yung nagustuhan mo and why? So tell us why you love the
Oh,
Ateneo versus UP game.
the Ateneo versus UP game. Just it was a real game of basketball, and I'll tell you why later. You will go into it later. There's a chess match between the two coaches, and the atmosphere. That felt like an old school UAAP game. The crowd was going crazy. I heard from some of my friends that there was no parking in Cubao anywhere. All of the buildings were full. Uh, some people had to get in the second quarter na. There's a line out the door at 6:30. Just felt like a real intense game of basketball with real solid stakes. And everyone was tuned in. For my runner-up, I didn't know that I would be saying this, but the LaSalle UE game was really exciting.
And
Just watching it.
ever since the start of the season, Gab, UE yung pinipeg mo to make it to the fourth place, diba? To the final four. So I think
Yeah,
medyo
because
may bias ka din sa UE.
I want to
Nasa
see UE back
Island
there.
ka eh.
Yeah, I'm on UE Island, man, and that was crazy because the guy who almost killed Ateneo on last Wednesday just destroyed LaSalle in this game. They're calling him RemoGOAT. Ray RemoGOAT. Oh my god, he was on fire, and he killed LaSalle in overtime. LaSalle, pare, di ko get like gets LaSalle. They have these highs, man, and they just came from this high na they
Momentum.
beat NU, they beat UP, that two of the top 3 teams tinalo nila. Tapos, matatalo sila sa UE? Are you serious?
Teka lang, time out. To be fair, wala si Mike Phillips, di ba? Sa UE game. So,
Yeah,
they were down another starter.
But they have enough talent to to compensate for the absence of Mike Phillips. I think that was clear. I thought they missed a lot of defensive assignments and were sloppy on offense as well. They missed a lot of shots. Ayun talaga. Grabe yung UE. Grabe yung UE. Hanggang sa dulo, hindi sila sumuko. And did you see their locker room? There was a video circling around social media
Celebration
in the locker room.
Ano nangyari?
It's like they won the championship. And I love it. Grabe, para sila nag-champion.
Pinapaligo nila, di ba? Pinapaligo ng Gatorade.
Yeah.
But
And
I think
we talk about... Oh, go, Mavi.
sorry, just to add with LaSalle. Siyempre, we have to comment sa LaSalle. It sucks to be a LaSalle diehard fan also this year. It's been a roller coaster season. I think that's an understatement. Up and down. As Gab mentioned, they have their highs. They beat Ateneo in the first round. They beat NU and LaSalle back-to-back to save their season. Coming from a buzzer beater also, game winner from PJ Austria. And then when they should have won another game with a team that doesn't even have any implication already for the Final Four, no betting game, they lose the game. I think LaSalle, what a season ba LaSalle? I can't even
Grabe.
comprehend what it feels like to be a LaSalle fan this season.
Kung ako yung Lasal fan, internally, nagmumura na ako every time, diba? Pero, come on. Come on. Nanalo na kayo 3 straight games. Tinalo nyo na sa UP. Tinalo nyo NU. Matatalo kayo sa UE. Come on lang. Utangin na. Umayos kayo. Diba? It's gonna be frustrating talaga, Mau, diba? Kung may Lasal tayo kaibigan, siguro pat on the back na lang okay lang yan, pare.
Bad trip na
Si
sila.
Apo, bro.
Super
Si Apo, tama.
Go, Mau.
Bad trip talaga ako Lasal fan.
Yeah, being a LaSalle fan this year, I don't know. They should win their game against UST to give them a fighting chance. But I don't know, if they lose against UST, I wouldn't be surprised even if Nick Cabanero doesn't play. But they should win their next game against UST. They should force Adamson. A pressure
Okay.
for Adamson against Ateneo.
Sige. So,
Yeah.
2 points just to close yung LaSalle UE game. Actually, UE is the only team that LaSalle didn't beat this season. So, I'm not sure kung narinig niyo yun sa broadcast, diba? They mentioned that. Lahat ng teams, lahat ng teams na talo nila, the only team they didn't beat was UE, and that's Jack Santiago. We all know, learn from coach, kanino ba siya? Kay Franz Pumaren, tama ba?
Franz Pumaren, yeah.
Okay, so
Who
also learned the Pumaren system. So he out Pumaren Derek Pumaren. Second point, just to close this conversation, this game, on the Ateneo Adamson game, we all know Ateneo and LaSalle will be cheering for the same team. Maybe that's a first in history. LaSalle and Ateneo will both be cheering for Ateneo. So, unity pare, unity. Okay, let's talk
on our hands.
Exactly. Let's talk, and we might face them if we beat Adamson. We could potentially face.
You will talk about that later, Sam. We'll talk about it later.
Right. So, sige, we'll talk more about that later during our predictions. Let's quickly talk about the other exciting game, Adamson versus NU. Adamson has been hot, winning I think three straight games, if I'm not mistaken, or
Three straight.
Three straight. And then NU has suddenly lost 2 straight. Any thoughts on that game? Quick ano lang.
Actually,
from
if you were to
Maui,
ask me kanina yung runner up for the top game, I would have picked Adamson versus NU. The implications for both teams kasi yung NU was fighting for their twice to beat advantage, and Adamson was fighting for their season. So I think the stakes of that game were very high. Jerom Lastimosa just came back from a broken toe. He's sacrificing his career again for Adamson. He had offers for opportunities abroad, I think, nung off-season, but he delayed it to try to get Adamson back to the Final Four. And he has not failed to deliver for both games. He scored I think 23 points against NU in 17 minutes. And against NU, he shot the game-winning shot that saved their season. NU was
tapang talaga ng batang.
Yeah, tapang talaga. To be frank, actually, kung usapan lang talaga ng most valuable player this season of all the teams, I think Jerom Lastimosa deserves it more than anyone. He has put Adamson behind his back, and Adamson being in the driver's seat, I would say in the driver's seat for the Final Four slot right now against LaSalle also speaks volume into what Jerom Lastimosa has shown this season. And I think he will be rewarded, definitely. You already see articles right now na there are B-League teams waiting for his services.
No?
Hopefully all of the sacrifices he made this year comes into fruition. But yeah, the Adamson NU game was also a nail biter. Uh, Definitely one of the best games of the season with Lastimosa hitting that game-winning shot. I'm concerned more for NU because they started to lose their stride and the momentum that they built nung first round and into the second round. I actually cannot believe that Ateneo secured the Final Four, the twice to beat advantage last week, and NU should have won probably one of the Adamson and LaSalle game. But both teams, both LaSalle and Adamson, are really well. LaSalle lost, as we mentioned, lost to UE, but they're fighting for their playoff chances. So yeah, I think Adamson versus NU deserves credit as being one of the games of the season also.
Gab, quick thoughts on NU. Any idea why NU is suddenly on a two-game losing streak?
No, I just think they faced two teams who are hungrier than them in Adamson and LaSalle. LaSalle is both LaSalle and Adamson were playing with their backs against the wall. So both were close games. Both
Winnable.
went down to the wire. And you just played their usual style. It just so happens that the dice didn't roll their way for these two games. But I think they're still solid. They're still pretty dangerous. On the Adamson side, we all hail Jerom Lastimosa, but I do want to give a shout out to his teammates. I think his teammates carried the load on
Stepped
offense,
up.
especially during that NU game. I think Jerome only scored 9 points the entire game. And we talked about this all the time, diba? No, earlier part ng season, we talked about na how disappointed we were with Adamson na it's so easy to defend Adamson because it's just a Jerom Lastimosa offense. Na all of his other teammates don't really step up on offense. You could just strap Jerome and then basically just you hold them down on offense. But weirdly, because of Jerom Lastimosa's absence, parang na-empower na yung the rest ng teammates niya to be more aggressive, to have more confidence, to create more offense. I saw Lenda Duanga is more confident shooting threes, his one-handed free throw line
I
jumper.
think he made three pointers, 3 or 4 nung game.
Yeah, wild. And he was so confident. And I think, and you can see it from the bench, Sam, Maui. Pang makita mo yung bench nila on offense, they're egging on Duanga. Itira mo. Tira mo. Tapos pang napapasok niya. Talagang yes sila because I think they know in practice that he could hit it. So I think they're egging him on to shoot more. And he's more confident. Cedric Mazano has been more confident. Joshua Yero, Joem Sabanda, they're now more confident orchestrating the offense. And I think you see it more na Jerom Lastimosa is just in the corner, waiting for a kick-out pass, and he leaves the creation of the offense to sina Joshua Yero, even si Jed Colonia, kahit na hindi masyado efficient doon, si Joem Sabandal. I think weirdly, the absence of Jerome was a positive for Adamson. They're playing better now because they have a lot of guys now who can orchestrate the offense and not just count on Jerome every time na ikaw na bahala. And you see the effects, especially nung NU game, during the end game. Mas may energy na ngayon si Jerome na to take over during the last part. Although, I do disagree. I think same tayo, Maui. Both doubtful tayo. Bakit niya tinatry palagi tres? Pumasok siya.
Yeah.
2 points lang naman lamang, di ba? Bakit palagi tres yung inahabol mo?
One lang actually.
Okay.
One lang lamang nung una.
Before 1 point. 1 point.
Sila.
They could have taken the lead if he drove the lane, but he shot 2 3-pointers. Fortunately, the third 3-pointer he took was the game-winning shot.
Correct. So, I want to jump on that point, no? I want to continue the Adamson discussion kasi in our next segment, we're gonna do ballers and boleros of the week. So, not just of yesterday, but of the week. So, I'm gonna start. Let's start with the ballers kasi para sa akin, ang baller of the week ko is Adamson actually. So, Actually, maganda na yung points na nasabi niyong lahat. And I think na-mention ko to, if I'm not mistaken, na-mention ko to sa last podcast natin, Gab. Parang, or maybe in our chats, parang yung injury ni Jerome was actually a good thing for Adamson eh. It was sort of a wake-up call. Ngayon na-call out mo, Gab, na now people are his other teammates are empowered to make more plays. But I also think, Gab, na it's out of necessity kasi feel ko hindi talaga kaya ni Jerome mag-drive or
Hindi
to
siya
make
100%.
plays or to
Yeah.
to hug the ball. Kaya pansin ko din, tama kayo, Gab. Nag-aano na lang siya, nag-aabang siya by the corner, parang spot up shooter na lang siya, ganun. I also feel like
Yeah.
it's because nahirapan siya. Syempre, he's not 100%, di ba? So,
Masakit
the
yun.
other
I'm sure masakit ang paa niya, toe niya.
right. Right.
Hindi, tsaka
So I think
definitely,
si coach,
naka-walking boot siya. 2 weeks ago lang, di
yun
ba?
nga eh, correct.
Naka-walking boot siya.
So
So,
the fact na naglalaro siya is a miracle. And so I think Coach Nash really had to empower all the other key players to make plays. And also I think si Coach Nash sort of re-strategize, change his strategy on how he uses Jerome na ganito na lang. Which is actually, if as you mentioned, Gab, it's actually made him more efficient, si Lastimosa. Kasi dati, di ba, he really just hugs the ball and he takes all the shots. Tapos napapagod siya pagdating sa dulo. Even last season, we saw that they
Yeah.
lost a lot of close games because Jerome would like hold the ball and he would run out of gas. So I think it was really a good thing for Jerome na he got injured in a way because they had to
Di ba?
strategize and it empowered everyone. Just na shout out mo na si Duanga. Just wanna shout out. So I didn't get to watch this game. So nagulat na lang ako nung nag-text kayo na game winner si Lastimosa. But I watched the highlights. Just wanna shout out also na shout out mo na lahat, gabi, pero si AP Manlapas. So he's back and he was very aggressive. Dun sa highlights, ha? I
Yeah.
yeah.
mean,
Sa limited
dami
minutes
niyang
niya.
drives.
Sa limited minutes
Dami
niya, he
niyang
was very
drives. I think he
aggressive.
scored like 3 straight buckets or something, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Finally getting
um,
healthy.
exactly. So maybe itong Adamson, they're my baller of the week also kasi parang they're getting healthy at the right time. They're sort of yung sabi mo, Gab, they're peaking at the right time. AP's back, Jerome can now play. I think si Magbuhos came in just to take like play 1 minute or something, pero I'm expecting him to be back maybe in the Ateneo game. So they're on a hot streak. Medyo kinakabahan ako, to be honest, sa last game natin against Adamson. So, if Adamson wins, they're guaranteed the fourth place. But anyway, let's talk about that later. Maui, who's your baller of the week? Could
Ako,
be a player,
baller of
coach,
the week
team.
ko, to be honest, again, not to be biased. I have to to say that multiple times, but it has to be Ateneo. Ateneo has won 5 straight I think 5 straight games. To be honest, middle of the first round and start of the second round, nobody expected Ateneo to have a chance to finish first. And Ateneo is on the cusp of possibly finishing first again uh, in the standings. And you have to give it to the coaching staff. Again, Coach Stab. With all that Ateneo has endured the past year, they could have easily folded this season. Even Coach Stab said nung first round, if they will not be able to turn the page, maybe it would have been better to think about season 86. But now they're on the verge of finishing the second round as the potential number one at the number one slot. They've won their past 5 games. Some games are ugly. Games against like the UE game last Wednesday, they could have easily won that game. But
FEU game.
yeah, the
FEU.
FU game,
FE.
FU game they trailed by 18, but they weathered the storm. And I think Ateneo is speaking at the right time, and they're very dangerous. Uh, to be honest, as an alumni and speaking to also the alumni and the other people from the Ateneo community, hindi optimistic ang people that Ateneo would even get the twice a beat advantage or this season because of La Salle and UP.
I wasn't. Sam wasn't.
Yeah, Ako kasi bias talaga eh. Optimistic as long as Tab Baldwin coaches Ateneo, I think they have a fighting chance. But to be frank, this season, I think Ateneo has really turned the corner. And you really have to give it to Coach Tab. And finally, the bench of Ateneo is starting to pick up the pace. Chris Kuhn, shout out to my boy, Phil Italian, Gab Gomez. I really like his game.
Yeah. Ito
Uh,
kayo,
nung
ito
start,
kayo.
Gusto kayo. Nung start ng season, to be honest, I was surprised na siya yung nilalaro over Paul Garcia.
Paul
Watching
Garcia.
Ateneo play nung off-season. But he really grows into you. Parang every game nakikita mo kung bakit dumadadag minutes niya, bakit siya yung first guy off the bench. He's solid, steady, similar to probably I think one of my friends told me na parang similar siya kay Matt Nieto nung bata. Very steady, doesn't lose the ball, doesn't force shots, just plays into the system. And I think if Ateneo would have the chance to win this championship, the bench, specifically Chris Kuhn and Gab Gomez and probably Josh Lazaro will have to step up similar to how they've stepped up nitong second round. But props to Ateneo for I think really turning the page this season.
And I think that's a big monkey off their back game, yung game kahapon. No? UP has UP is the overwhelming favorite. I think that's a no-brainer for everyone. And for Ateneo, this is something na kaya natin talunin ng UP. Diba? Natalo na natin ng UP, kaya natin gawin yun.
Confidence booster.
Yung confidence booster talaga. Kasi kung di mo matalo twice, medyo, yung it's a thing that you have to get over. Medyo takot ka, yung kabado ka yung pagkalaban ng UP. Because, diba? And now you know that you can beat them. That's a confidence booster.
Actually, sa press conference ni Dave Idelfonso with Coach Tab, one of the points that Dave Idelfonso said was very critical yung win sa kanila, not just because of the implication, but really them getting over the hump, especially for him, who has really struggled with UP. They've lost 4 out of the last 5 games, as mentioned, coming from second round of last season. And he compared it to UP beating Ateneo nung second round nung season 84. They got the confidence, they got the validation that they can go toe-to-toe and even beat UP. So, I don't know, I think this is probably gonna be round 3. Round 3 Ateneo UP if all falls into place.
Most likely.
Let's see what happens. So that's my baller of the week, Ateneo.
Gab, baller of the week mo.
Ako, baller of the week ko, sorry, but Ateneo din ako.
Pumili ka ng iba.
So, sige. If I were gonna give my baller of the week, it has to be the team I mentioned earlier that I've been riding on since the first round. UE! Pare, you shared an article about UE and that how many players that they were losing. LA Villegas, CJ Payawal, Nico Paranada. So that's like 3 of their top guys gone for next season. And you have to wonder, okay, so do they go back to the bottom? And then, silver lining, they have their next star right there. When I was watching I thought his game against Ateneo was a fluke. Honestly, parang, okay, he got hot. Okay, sige. Then, against the Salle, I was shouting. I was watching with my dad. I was shouting, why aren't they playing him more? Bakit ngayon lang siya nilalaro? Magaling pala tong guy na to. And honestly, even yung other players, si Gilbuena, I forgot their other guys, but their other guys can play. And this Ray RemoGOAT, honestly, he has skills, he has shooting, he can defend. That's a silver lining for UE. They're losing a lot of the rotation pieces, but I think you can see that there's a future. I'm rooting for them because it has been very bad for the past decade. So I'm rooting for them to have confidence as a program, and I think they'll they'll bring Jackson Santiago back as a head coach. They definitely will. They play an exciting brand of basketball. That's what I love the most about UE.
Yeah, definitely. 4 out.
4 out. They just have one guy in. They don't run any plays, if at all, for Gary Stevens. Their only guy in the middle. They run a lot of pick and rolls, kick outs. They shoot a lot of threes. They run a lot. Very exciting brand of basketball talaga. I'm a big fan of what Coach Jackson Santiago has implemented. And going into next season, kung mawala si Nico Paranada, hell, you still have Kyle Paranada, you still have this Ray RemoGOAT guy. So you have some offense. They just have to build around, recruit more. Ako, big confidence booster talaga yung para sa akin if I'm a UE fan. And for all the UE faithful out there, I'll be looking forward to next season. Very exciting. I just love watching UE. I think I've watched all UE games during the second round. Kasi itong UE game talaga manonood ako. No matter ko sino kalaban, manonood ako. Kasi wala eh. Exciting talaga sila yung maglaro. So, UE is my baller of the week. Sam, can we now go to the Ateneo UP game?
Fine. Quickly lang. What do you want to say about Ateneo UP? Ateneo, your baller of the week.
Ako lang, pare, I did watch the game. Ako, my other baller of the week, Coach Tab. Kahit ako nako-confuse kung anong defense yung nirun ng Ateneo from each possession. Kasi paiba-iba. In the fourth quarter, I think in one possession, they went from a man-to-man defense to a 2-3 zone, a 1-2-2 zone, back to a 2-3 zone. Paiba-iba sila, legit. They changed their defense per possession. And pare, dapat I've played organized basketball before. That is very hard.
Yeah.
So mahirap doon pare. Nag-iiba kayo ng defense. Nakakahilo yun. At you can see it yung on the telecast. They're signaling, okay, we're playing this, tapos magtuturuan sila, okay, dito ka. In the middle of a possession. It's crazy. It's crazy yung what they're doing. And then, I also gotta give a shout out to the bench mob. You mentioned si Gab Gomez and Chris Kunmawi. We gotta give a shout out to Chu Daves. I think he played his best game as a Blue Eagle.
Definitely.
And this is his last year as a Blue Eagle. So, I just want to give a shout out to Chu Daves.
Definitely Chu Daves. Actually,
I told this to Sam.
Sorry, Gab. Just to add lang, to be honest, nung first half, medyo burat pa ako yung Chu Daves because he was tentative and the offense was really stalling for Ateneo, parang 4v5. But you could see he was a different player nung second half. When Balungay picked up his fourth foul, he quickly entered and he instantly drove to the lane when he got the ball. And he didn't make it, but Kwame was able to put it back. And then after a few plays, ganun ulit, he was very aggressive. And I think he really proved that he's a baller. Matthew Davis is a baller. And I hope this can be a springboard for him for his future.
And talk about someone who got his confidence back in this game. I think Matthew Davis, he's been tentative the whole season versus last season. I think last season he was a bit more aggressive or sure of himself. I think injured din kasi siya, diba? He came from an injury. So I think he's been very tentative the whole season. So I saw him, he was very aggressive. As you mentioned, Mao. He kept driving to the basket in this game, which I've never seen him do this entire season. Go ahead, Gab.
Ako lang kasi, I love the aggressiveness because Ateneo runs a lot of mga dribble handoff action. At ang ginagawa ni Zave Lucero, pati ni Carl Tamayo, is to show. Nag-show sila palagi para ma-stop yung dribble handoff. So, I think Chu Davis did it twice. He missed once, but he did it twice. He faked the dribble handoff. Okay, he's showing. I'm gonna drive to the basket and take it aggressively. He scored once on Zave Lucero. And yun, I think we need more of that. And I know Sam has become frustrated with Josh Lazaro because he doesn't do that. He's not that player. Diba? Sam has been very frustrated with Josh Lazaro. Chu Daves just did the opposite of what Josh Lazaro was doing. He was aggressive on offense, just really finding his shot. And I hope we get to see more minutes for him. Honestly, he stepped up big time to see Chu Daves. Just loved it. Confidence ng bench mob talaga. Sabi ko, finally, the bench mob came through after how many games? 13 games? Yan finally.
Okay, sige. Let's go to our Boleros of the week. Reverse naman tayo, Gab. You start with your Bolero of the week. Player, team, coach, whatever.
Sige, ako Bolero of the week, as I'm sure someone here is gonna mention Lasal, but yung Bolero of the week ko actually pare si Kian Baklaan, because he got ejected for 2 technical fouls, but they weren't the regular technical fouls. He got ejected for 2 technical fouls of faking a foul. And not just twice. He got warned already. Did it the other time, and then did it the third time. And he got ejected and was suspended.
Yeah.
for faking a foul twice of the same thing and he's done this since the first round. But he's getting called for it more. But parang hindi siya natuto na hey, they're calling it now, stop doing it. Na he kicks out his leg, tapos matatamaan siya, and then he'll let himself fall while shooting. Tapos halata naman na fake yung foul, as in he's really flopping. So for me, that's a Bolero of the week, man. Come on, learn your lesson, stop doing it. Just take the shot.
Yeah. Tsaka yung implication yun for him missing yung Adamson game was very big. Another thing why I agree with you, Gab, is he also lost his chance to win Rookie of the Year just because of those infractions.
Shit, oo nga.
Oo nga, no. Basta masuspend ka, no?
Getting a suspension, automatically you can't win an award. So, that was a very big that was a very big hit for him. I think he even posted sa Twitter yung mga nangyayari na I think he has to change that bad habit moving forward. But yeah, I think I agree with you, Gab. Kian Baklan can be one of the Boleros of the week.
Diba? Crazy. Kasi 3 beses niya ginawa sa isang game. Ay, nakakuha ka na ng technical. Stop doing it. Then he got his third. As yung mukha niya, parang anong ginawa ko. Kasi teammates siya, like, bro, nag-flop ka na naman. Wala na, ejected ka na, lang hiya ka. Wala, Kiki ang baklaan. So he's my Bolero of the week.
Maui, who's your Bolero?
Actually, yung runner-up ko for Baller of the Week and runner-up ko for Bolero of the Week should, and it's also both Lasal. Both they are both the runner-up for Bolero and Baller of the Week. First, Lasal for Baller of the Week, runner-up for beating NU and UP, and then coincidentally also Bolero of the Week, runner-up for them losing to UE when they should have easily won that game. But I think Mark Nonay deserves recognition. We've been talking about Mark Nonay the whole season and how he's been having a very disappointing season. But ever since Shanu Winston went down, Mark Nonay has been playing out of his mind. Maybe some of them are not seen in the box score. Some of them are seen in the box score. He's been hitting big shots and being a pest. I think number one talaga for him is to be a pest in defense and provide the energy that they needed.
Yes.
So shout out to Mark Nonoy for turning his season around. I think this is the best he's been playing since he entered Lasal. Fortunately, being behind Evanelli and Winston has really not been that great for him. So I think Lasal could be my Bolero of the week. Hindi na runner up, just Bolero, just for using that UE game. They could have been my baller of the week, to be honest, if they won that game.
I have a question though. I have a question though about Lasal. Yung reason ba bakit Coach Derek Pumalit pinapasok si Shawnee Winston sa last seconds ng game is because of MVP chances?
Yes.
The MVP daw
yes. may minimum number of games for you to get the MVP and mythical team selection. So Sean Winston has been playing less than 20 seconds, I think, for the past 2 games. They're trying to get him maybe just a consolation prize. Kahit maka-mythical team man lang siya. I don't know if I haven't seen yung most recent MVP rankings, but I would have to believe that him not logging any stats for 2 games has
Yeah,
been
ako rin eh.
affecting him.
That was my
Yeah,
next question. Okay, you're going to the game but not doing anything, so your stats will suffer.
yeah,
So I don't get it also. So, anyway, yun nga yung naisip ko eh. Kasi in the overtime game yesterday against UE, pinasok siya no last few seconds. Tapos kami ng dad ko, ha? But this is Sonny. Parang sa isip ko, yung baka for the MVP, yung kaya sa pinapasok para may games played
yeah.
siya.
Parang may minimum number of
Baka
games
yun.
eh. I think 11 games ata yung minimum. So Lasal has been playing him, I guess, as a reward for him shouldering all the load nung first few parts. And I'm sorry for Shawnee Winston. Si Jerom Lastimosa at least is playable right now, but Lasal has been hyping that Shawnee Winston is healthy na, but as you can see, yung past 2 games, they were just playing him just for the sake of getting the games played para sa award. But yeah, I think right now Malik Diouf is leading yung MVP, but I haven't seen yung latest numbers, but people have been saying na I think Diouf and Kwame are chasing or already ahead of Padrigao for running up. I don't know. Will be surprised to see Shawnee Winston still win the MVP award? Probably not. But I won't be surprised if he makes it to the mythical team.
Yeah, good points.
That clears it up.
Yeah. Okay, ako last Bolero of the week. Actually, I had NU and part of my because they lost 2 straight. I 'di ba, Gab, I think when we did our predictions, sabi ko NU would take the second spot. That was my prediction last time, and then they lose 2 straight. Um the Baklaan incident also was part of the reason why they could have won maybe if Baklaan was there yesterday. Uh Another runner up, as you mentioned, Maui, is Lasal, but more focused on like injuries for Lasal. I think that's also sort of what derailed the season. Shani hasn't played for what, like 5-6 games. Tapos si Mike Phillips has been on and off. 'Di ba?
In and
I
out,
think
in and out.
against like FEU ata wala siya, and then nawala ulit siya yesterday. So feel bad for Lasal. Hopefully you know Shawnee and Mike can play the last game of the season or they
Kahit si
get healthy
Evanelli
soon.
has missed, I think, more than 3 games.
Correct.
Partly due to
Although
suspension and
suspension ata yung isa, 'di ba? Suspension.
Twice. Yung suspension niya.
yeah.
Twice pala
Yeah,
suspension.
twice.
Twice
I
Okay.
think illness or injury yung isa. But
Okay.
I think,
So
yeah, I have
go
to
ahead.
agree, Sam, that key players missing games has really derailed yung quality ng play ng
Correct.
Lasal to be very consistent.
Only silver lining there, the young guys have been playing. I feel like si Joaquin Manuel is also injured kasi nakikita ko may nakarap sa arm niya and he hasn't been playing. So
I don't
my
care. He
theory is
shouldn't be playing.
injured siya.
Yeah, definitely. I think,
But
Honestly, they're much better. We talked about this nung last
Yeah.
pod, Sam.
yeah,
They're a lot better with CJ Austria and
Abadam.
EJ Abadam.
Abadam
Yeah,
tsaka si Makalalag.
si Makalalag, they're much better when they play. And you have to give them more confidence, honestly, for next season.
kahit si Penny Estacio has
Those
been
two
very
guys,
good.
yeah, even Penny Estacio, their guard rotation is very solid, honestly. Between Nonoy, Nele, and Estacio, they're pretty
Right.
solid. I'm
But
gonna ask though, Mau, isabi mo, go. Uh,
no, go ahead, Gab.
Sasabi mo yung runner-up mo, Lasal. So, sino yung Bolero of the week mo?
Hindi, actually, I changed my mind. Dahil dun sa
Lasal na
talent
nga
nila
daw
ate.
yung bolero niya.
Lasal na rin ang
Yung
yeah,
Lasal
Lasal na
na,
rin.
Lasal.
Pero I was
So-
also thinking NU, but when you watch kasi NU games, it doesn't look
Close.
like all of their games are winnable and close. And as Gab mentioned, they're playing into the system. So if they lose, it's like Ateneo. If they lose, you knew that they really lost because they executed the right way It was a close game. And yeah, I think yung implications din ng mga kalaban talaga nila na do or die really play the part in why
Yeah,
NU
backs against the wall talaga yung
backs
mga
against
kalaban
the
ng
wall
NU eh.
As in must-win games
And,
talaga eh. Kaya kita mo yung
and
desperation.
yun, just a note from the NU games, Coach Jeff Napa is one. Sobrang strict niyang coach siya. I don't know if you watched it. Isang mali lang, pull out ka na agad.
Out.
Yung next player, sub in ka. Oh, legit! And I think, kailan ba yun? Nung Lasal game, he played 11 guys nung first quarter.
Yeah,
Since,
nakita ko yun.
nagkamali ka, sub
Oo.
in ka. No, kamali ka, sub out. Yung kamali ka, sub out ka. Crazy! Wow! The short leash, ha? Grabe si Jeff Napa.
Yeah.
So I think
So,
NU, the good thing about NU is they're playing for this year, but Jeff Napa's really focused on them being a great program. So that's
yeah,
also one
that's
of the
true.
reasons why I think Gabion may short leash siya, very long rotations, is giving chances to different players, shuffling them. And I think I think Jeff Napa should win Coach of the Year, to be honest. Who would have
Yes.
thought? And even if they lost the past two games, even if they're not gonna have that twice to beat advantage, what NU has done this year has been spectacular. They've beaten all the top teams. Nobody forecasted them to be this good without even I think no actual star player, just a bunch of great role players playing into the system of Coach Jeff Napa. So if I were to name a coach of the year, to be honest, probably be Jeff Napa.
Oh, you will do some awards when the elimination
Soon.
round is over. I think we can
Soon.
do
Soon.
soon.
Okay, let's close this Boleros discussion. Since you picked Lasal and NU, I'm going for a team na hindi pa natin pinapag-usapan. Bolero of the week, Bolero of the season for me, FEU. They had a chance to still make it to the Final Four, but they lost to Adamson in the game last Wednesday. So because of that, they were eliminated from the Final Four. First time in like years.
11
Parang
seasons
I was
ata eh. Parang if I were
oh,
parang kung
exactly, di
tama
ba?
parang 2011 ata yung last na hindi sila naka final four. But definitely a lot of years na since they last did not make it to the final four. Parang yung last time pa nga
So,
nila yung isa naka final four, I think tiebreaker pa for fourth place. Kung
and then
tama
natalo
yung
sila.
hindi natalo sila, I think, to Lasal. Yeah.
So yan. So for me, just to shout out FEU, my Bolero of the week. They missed on the Final Four. They dug themselves a big hole kasi nung first half of
Yes,
the season,
definitely.
the season, diba? Yung first round, I think they
0-5 was
lost.
too
0 and
big.
5.
Yeah,
0 and 5
0-5.
was too big of a hole for them to really dig themselves
Climb out of.
I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
so it's
can I
end of an era. But
can I give
me,
a runner up? Go
go,
Sam.
Gab. Hindi, ikaw muna.
I just thought about it now. I was thinking about it earlier this morning, but I do have a runner up Bolero of the week.
Okay.
And I think maraming mga galit sa akin again. Because I have to give a mini Bolero of the week to UP a little bit. Losing to Lasal, first of all, that was a big loss. But in the game yesterday in Ateneo, parang in the third quarter, I saw UP unravel a bit in the third quarter. I think we all saw that. They were visibly frustrated. They were called for two technical fouls. One was on Henry Galenato. I think we all saw that. And the other was Harold Alarconio punching the ball. And I think they lost composure because the refs were starting to call fouls on them because they play very physical defense. And we talked about this, Sam, since last season, since season 84. UP is given a lot of leeway to play physical defense. I'm sure, Mao, you agree. Diba? You watch them a lot. They do a lot of hand checks. They bump a lot. They swipe a lot. And usually they're not called for fouls. It just so happens that yesterday, the refs decided we're gonna call some fouls. And visibly na-frustrate yung mga taga-UP. James Spencer was yung hands up, was complaining. Ay, 3 technical fouls. Also on their assistant coach, I believe. Diba? Na-technical foul yung assistant coach. Yung first free throw si Dave Aldefonso. Their assistant coach was also given a technical foul, Galinato, and then si Alarcon. So that's 3 technical fouls in the third quarter, which coincidentally made Dave Ildefonso hot because if you're a scorer or a shooter, you just need to see it go in once. And okay, it went in. Just the monkey off my back. I can shoot this. And when he shot those free throws, he eventually shot the ball pretty well the rest of the game. He scored 12 in the third quarter after going scoreless in the first. So yeah, and I know a lot of UP fans will be angry with me again for calling them mini Bolero. Si Sabi yung nag-facepalm na naman. But I don't care.
Cut na, Gab. Cut.
Wala akong paki, pare. Pero totoo naman eh. Totoo naman. I think, Maui, you agree, diba?
Yeah, definitely. Their brand of basketball is really physical defense, and I think
Gritty.
great defense. There's nothing wrong with that. Ateneo also plays that sometimes. Salle does, but yeah, you have to play into your strengths. Rin. Si Abadiano and Alarcon are very good. Spencer are very good man-to-man defensive players.
Right.
And in a very tight game, Gab was right. UP shouldn't have lost their composure. Those 2 technical fouls by Alarcon and Galinato were just a few plays short. And I think that was a play that really gave Ateneo yung cushion to get David Alfonso hot and start their run that led into a 13-point hole no fourth quarter. I mean, they're a championship team. They should play like a championship team. They should not let themselves be bothered by the referees and just play their usual hard-nosed basketball. I'm sure Coach Gold stressed this out after the game that they should not lose their composure. It's very difficult, especially if you're playing a disciplined team like NU or Ateneo. If you lose your composure, you're really going to be shooting yourself in the foot. Because they will really take advantage because they're just playing to the system. You rarely see Ateneo or NU lose their composure. And UP, I don't know, uncharacteristically really lost their composure yesterday. Buti na lang, di nagka-John Amores incident nung tumulak si Galinato, to be honest. Very scary, but very scary, especially given the events that has happened the past few weeks. But yeah, I think it's validated.
Pare, in fairness kay Dave, puta, si Galinato, what the fuck, no? Laki-laking tao nito. You see this guy's arms and shoulders? Oh my
Tumatawa
God.
lang si Ildefonso. Laki din daw ng guns niya eh. But yeah, I think I would have to agree. UP could be also runner-up sa Boleros of the week. They lost they lost games that they could have won, and they could have locked up the top position as expected. But due to them losing their composure, they gave Ateneo a fighting chance. Kasi talaga, to be honest, after nung second quarter run nila, all the momentum was with them.
Yeah.
I wasn't, and you can see Ateneo wasn't able to go on their usual early third quarter run. Very tight knit yung game nung hanggang nagkagulo talaga. So props also to Ateneo for not losing their composure, and I think UP has to work on their composure. Kasi yan talaga yung magiging Waterloo nila if anyone from Ateneo, NU, or the fourth or any of the final 4 teams would be able to defeat them. Talent-wise kasi, to be honest, coaching staff, lahat pristine. So, yun that's why I also agree with Gab na they could be a Bolero of the week.
Okay, sige. Let's end it there. Ballers and Boleros. Let's move forward to our last segment. We're going to talk about predictions. for that last few games of the season, no? So what we have right now, we have five teams battling for position, no? The only thing that's locked in is NU at third place. So no matter what happens, third place na NU. We have fighting for fourth, Adamson and Lasal. And then fighting for positioning. So Ateneo and UP both have the twice to beat advantage locked in. They're just fighting for the number one seed essentially. So UP tapos na yung season nila, no? So it really depends. If Ateneo wins, Ateneo will get the number one seed. If Ateneo loses, UP will get the number one seed. For Adamson and Lasal, just to recap, right now, let me just quickly check. Adamson is 7-6, Lasal is 6-7. So the only way for Lasal to make it is for Adamson to lose, Lasal to win. That would mean battle for fourth, Adamson versus Lasal. Um, Other than that, in any other scenario, Adamson will make it to fourth place. So medyo tagilid yung Lasal, no? Like Gab and I, we predicted Lasal would get it, but Adamson has proven us wrong. So
Yeah.
ngayon, it's more likely na Adamson will make it. But what are your thoughts? Any predictions, guys? Kasi going back to the games, as mentioned by Maui and Gab, it's Lasal versus UST, which we will assume Lasal will beat UST, and then Adamson versus Ateneo. So yun yung very crucial game na it will really dictate essentially the entire Final Four, whoever wins that game. And we can't, it's hard to predict, di ba? Kasi Adamson and Ateneo, we can say, are probably the two hottest teams right now. Um, Thoughts, Gab?
Sige, ako muna. So, I was talking about this yesterday with a couple of guys, yung plus my father. I was talking about, if you were Coach Tab, will you not intend, sige, fine, intentionally try to lose this game, tank, so, quote unquote, this game. And we both agreed na we don't think Coach Tab is that kind of coach. I don't think he's that kind of coach to intentionally lose a game just to pick whoever's they're gonna play in the Final Four. Unlike Letran, for those who don't know, Letran in the NCAA, quote unquote,
Shots
intentionally.
Shots
Eh,
fired.
There have been articles posted about what they did.
I know.
So that they didn't want to
Pero
face
sige, go ahead.
Sanbeda in the Final Four.
Go
So
ahead,
yun.
go ahead.
So yeah, I don't think that Coach Tab is that kind of coach to intentionally try to lose a game just to play NU instead of trying to play Lasal or Adamson. So actually, this is in Lasal's favor. As in, talaga, UST ang kalaban nyo, pare. Kung wala si Nick Cabanyero, this is in the bag. Just play sensible basketball. Huwag na kayong magkalat. Mananalo kayo. I mean, you have all the talent versus UST. And even if Nick Cabanyero's there, you just have to guard one guy. One guy. He's just he's the offense of UST. So, for me, this should be a playoff for fourth. And if it's not a playoff for fourth, it's either Adamson played a really good game or LaSalle shit themselves in the bed and they lost to UST for some weird reason. Anyway, kayo.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with Gab. Coach Tab and Ateneo are not the type of team that would intentionally throw a game just to be able to first dahil Lasal na ayaw natin kumampi sa Lasal, and second just to be able to play NU. You have to also know that Ateneo lost to NU, so they definitely Coach Tab respects NU as a team. They lost tong second round, and I think only lost ng Ateneo ng second round, if I'm not mistaken, is NU. NU, yeah, they could have finished the second round with a 7-game win streak. If they win against Adamson, 7-game win streak, and they wouldn't take Adamson lightly. Coach Tab is not the type of coach na, kumbaga, you can see naman, even if Ateneo leads by, during previous seasons when Ateneo led by as much as 20 points or 15 points or the game was out of hand.
50
Ateneo,
points yung season 84.
yeah,
He
50
was still
points.
coaching.
He was still coaching, shouting at the players, getting mad at errors. Coach Tab is a perfectionist. He will not intentionally throw a game,
Yeah,
definitely, I
agree.
think. And Lasal UST naman, I don't know, to be honest, it should be in the bag. Lasal should easily hand UST another loss. But given Lasal's performance this season, given Lasal's roller coaster season, all the surprises, ups and downs, I don't know if this would probably be their biggest low if they lose to UST. So, and I think you guys were asking, we were asking Coach Nash for starting a season 0-5. If LaSalle loses to UST this coming
Coach
Wednesday,
Coach Olsen
sorry,
started
Coach
zero.
Olsen, yeah, Coach Olsen sa FEU. If LaSalle loses this Wednesday sa UST, I think Derek Pumarin should be axed as LaSalle coach, unfortunately.
Yes, and if I were the Lasallian community, I would be organizing a lynch mob outside Derek Pumarin's home, asking for his head kung matalo sila sa UST. Honestly,
Yeah.
grabe na lang yun. Grabe talaga yun kung matalo
Grab,
sila sa UST.
kumbaga, the highest of high, they beat NU and UP back to back, only to lose to UE and UST, to two teams that have no bearing in win, no bearing to win, just playing basketball to try to improve for next season. I think LaSalle should definitely win this Wednesday. If they lose, mayhem. Kumbaga nung time ni, ni Coach Aldinayo
Ayo.
dati, mayhem,
Mayhem.
mayhem internally. Kung ako alumni ng LaSalle, mayhem. Tama si Gab. They should rally if they lose this Wednesday. I mean, if Adamson wins, so be it. But they did their part. But they should definitely win this Wednesday.
Okay, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a battle for fourth. LaSalle should win UST against UST. Yung Ateneo Adamson, honestly, I don't know. Medyo kinakabahan ako. But let's see. Hopeful. Again, like I'm not very optimistic with the team since the start of the season. Pero they're peaking at the right time. So hopefully we get that W and we get the number one spot. Um, and we get the championship back. Okay, sorry. Just before we end, that's it for today's show. But before we end, I forgot to mention kanina why I wanted to pick NU as a Bolero of the week. It's because they lost two straight, but they also lost. Yung women's team lost to LaSalle, breaking their
Ah,
106 game
You really
record.
had to bring that up.
So
what a
actually
tough
yun
week.
yung pala yung gusto ko point out before you brought up your mini bolero of the week. I was gonna say mini bolero of the week for me also was the NU women's team kasi ang lakas nila, halos ang dami atang women's ay gilas dun, 'di ba? Like sina
Yeah,
Clarine
I think
yung
halos buong Gilas roster nasa NU eh.
they're well coached. So kudos to the LaSalle women's team. I think si Cholo Villanueva yung coach nila. Seems like a really good coach kasi
Baka
they're
siya na
number
coach
two.
next year.
Yeah, they're number
Baka siya na coach ng men's next year, to be honest, kung
Posible.
matalo. Kung matalo
Posible.
against
Okay, guys,
UST.
you heard it here first at Boleros. We're predicting Cholo Villanueva will be the coach of the men's basketball team ng Lasal by next year. You heard it here first.
Kung
Don't
Let's
matalo against
end
don't
UST,
there.
don't
hindi
be
ako surprised.
surprised.
I would be
Let's
surprised.
end there. Let's end there. Comment what you think. If we didn't talk about your team or if meron kayong sarili nyong baller of the week or bolero of the week, could be a team, a player, a coach, any basketball personnel. Comment down below. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's it for today. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.